Welcome. In this video we are going to look at the working of X-ray machine. The X-ray machine, the heart of the X-ray machine is called X-ray tube. So generally the X-ray machine will consist of X-ray generator and an object plate and X-ray detector. So the X-ray tube is the source or the heart of the X-ray machine. X-ray tube will consist of cathode, anode. It is covered with the glass tube and which is filled with the vacuum, and it has a windows to emit the X-rays, and the whole setup has been covered with the metal shield and lead casing in order to avoid the spreading of the X-rays. X-ray machine, the heart of the X-ray machine is called X-ray tube. So this X-ray tube will consist of two main parts. One is cathode and another one is an anode. So here anode is a target material. Usually tungsten is used for anode, and a cathode is looking like a filament which can be seen in this fluorescent bulb. It will be similar to this case. So it will be looking like a filament, and the cathode and anode both are placed inside a glass vacuum tube. The cathode is a heated filament, so it is heated with high voltage, and the machine passes current through the filament. Heating, as it is heated up, it increased energy enables the electrons to be released from the filament through the thermionic emission. X-ray machines heats a filament cathode inside a vacuum tube to produce the stream of electrons. These electrons are then accelerated to high speed using high voltage and directed towards the metal anode, that is a target. The positively charged anode, it is a flash disc made up of tungsten, so it draws the electrons across the tube. The voltage difference between the cathode and anode is extremely high, so the electrons fly through the tube with great deal of force. When the high speed electrons strike the anode, they are rapidly decelerated, causing them to release energy in the form of X-rays. This process is called Bremsstrahlung radiation. Some of the X-rays are also produced when electrons are ejected from the anode's inner shells and the outer cell electrons fill the vacancies emitting. This is called characteristics X-rays. The tube is evacuated to a high vacuum in order to prevent collisions between the electrons and gas molecules, which would interfere with the process. So what are the main components of an X-ray tube? So the X-ray tube main components are cathode, it is a filament, and an anode, it is a target, and the high voltage is used to heat the cathode, so which emits the electrons, and the whole is kept in the envelope. It is a vacuum tube housing, and there will be a tube pot and tube housing. So and there is a rotor pot, so this rotation, in order the rotating anode, the rotation of the anode is maintained in order to spins the anode to distribute the heat. So the high impact collisions involved in the X-ray production generate a lot of heat. So the motor is attached to the anode. So a motor rotates the anode to keep it from melting. The electron beam is not always focused on the same area. Again, a cool oil bath surrounding the envelope also absorbs the heat. The entire mechanism is surrounded by a thick lead shield. This lead shield keeps the X-rays from escaping in all directions, and a small window is provided in the shield that some of the X-ray photons escapes in the narrow beam. The beam passes through a series of filters on its way to the patient. On the other side, a camera on the other side of the patient records the pattern of X-ray light that passes all the way through the patient's body. The X-ray camera uses the same film technology as an ordinary camera, but X-ray light sets off the chemical reaction instead of the visible light here. Doctors keeps the film image as a negative, that is, the area that are exposed to more light will appear darker, and the areas that are exposed to less light appear lighter. Light in the sense here we are meaning X-rays. The hard materials such as Bone appears white and softer material appears black or gray. Doctors can bring different materials into focuses by varying the intensity of the X-ray beam. Thank you.